Gratitude, it gets loud this time of year. The list, the thank yous, the social posts. But there's another kind of gratitude, the quieter one, the kind that sits in the space between your breaths, the kind that whispers, thank you for not giving up.
That's right. Today, we're talking about that quiet kind of gratitude, the one that begins from within. And now your host, Jan O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
Welcome back to the Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where we help you move, explore, and align so you can live your best, most intentional life. This is episode 392, and you can, as always, explore our show notes at WBNLpodcast.com. Today we're slowing things down.
There we go.
Instead of the outward expressions of gratitude for people, for things, for moments, we're turning inward, because when you learn to thank yourself, even gently, you start to see the world with softer eyes.
That's right, Jan O'Brien. Inward gratitude isn't about ego. It's about awareness. It's a way of saying, I see the effort that I made and I honor the journey that I'm on. That simple act of recognition brings peace, and it changes how we show up for everything else in our lives.
Exactly. Gratitude is energy, and energy flows where your attention goes. So when you give the attention to your own growth, your kindness, your perseverance, it ripples outward naturally. We've all been taught to look outward, make the list, say the thanks. That's beautiful, but it can also leave us chasing approval instead of awareness. The quiet kind of gratitude asks a much, much simpler question. What part of me deserves a thank you today? Maybe it's the version of you that kept walking the trail when it got a little too steep. Maybe it's your heart that stayed open when you were hurt or tired.
I love that image because now I'm just like back taking a million hikes. So that's really cool. Sometimes gratitude is just taking a breath halfway up the hill and realizing, hey, I'm still climbing. That's actually really kind of cool. It's less about outcomes and more about endurance. And honestly, that kind of gratitude feels grounding, like bare feet on solid earth.
Gratitude, as many things, begins with awareness. It's the pause at sunrise when you notice the light shifting. Man, sunrises and sunsets are completely the things for me. And if I do say so myself, we have some beautiful ones here in Las Vegas surrounded by mountains. That will give me pause, will bring me back to the present moment, and I'll always find gratitude just in those few seconds when I catch it. It happened the other day with the full moon. I went out twice to look at the full moon. Just in that space brought me right back to the present moment, and the feelings of gratitude really kind of came in, you know? The more present you are, the easier it becomes to see what's already working within you.
Now, presence really is such a practice. I've noticed on my morning walks when I went out, I even thought about it today. I went out today and it was so beautiful outside because it was foggy. And I love fog. I think a lot of people can think fog is kind of eerie or creepy. But to me, there's just such a silence in it and such a beauty. And it's a little bit mysterious because sometimes you don't know necessarily if you're in your own neighborhood, you know what's around the next corner. But I mean, you don't always know what's around that next corner. It's just kind of a neat feeling. I love it. So it's fun to walk in it for me. But when I stop scrolling, stop planning, and just listen to what's going on, the quiet, the silence, it just changes everything. Somewhere between the footsteps and the bird songs, and boy, the birds were humming today, I feel that little wave of appreciation being here, breathing, moving, and noticing. That's gratitude in motion. And at WBNL, we love to be in motion.
Yes, and you know what? That thing about scrolling, boy, the scrolling is really a deceptive trap.
Yep.
And I find myself at times getting caught up. It's so easy. It's the thing that has turned us into kind of crazy zombies, not being in the present moment. And before you know it, you can develop a bit of a weird habit where you're just doing it and time goes by and you're like, what did I really get out of that hour? I've personally been making a conscious choice not to scroll when I catch myself scrolling, to stop it. And what I want to do instead is replace it with, there are certain creators or certain channels I want to go listen to or watch. And that's what I need to do instead of doing the scroll. The scroll is there to get you in the trap, everybody. Okay. So
that's
you be aware of it. And it's so easy when you've had a long day and you're whatever, and you're thinking that's unwinding you, it's really not, right? Okay. And when you tune into frequency, positive frequencies, why we've been talking a lot about it, and being intentional in what it is that you're listening to or you're watching. Okay. That can really soften everything in your thoughts, your body. You'll feel it in your reactions. This gratitude, and it brings us back to gratitude always. Gratitude becomes less of a list and more of a rhythm that carries you throughout the day if you can find it. And what I'm trying to do is say, you can know, sometimes you can become aware of it because you're not in that space. And scrolling is an example of not being in that space. And then you catch yourself, and then you can bring yourself back to the present moment and the gratitude.
Yeah. Before you go on, Jen, let me just add, that is brilliant about the scrolling, because I think that we all just get caught up doing that. If you have an intentional pivot, that when you realize you're doing it, we're not saying get off your device, although that certainly is another option, right? But you're saying, I'm going to pivot from this scrolling habit to a habit that is much more enriching, and that could be, that can feed my soul better than just the scrolling. I mean, this is a brilliant pivot while still being on your phone. It's great.
But honestly, I've caught myself, and I used to not do a lot of scrolling. And then I realized that I think it was a reaction to maybe how I was feeling that day. And I just was in this mindlessness, and it wasn't intentional, and it wasn't good, because at the end of it, I was like, I didn't feel good. I didn't feel what we're talking about here, right? So let's talk about a couple other gentle ways to practice that. That was more of a become aware when you're not there, and then make the pivot, right? But to be intentional, let's go over a couple of them. One of them is just morning stillness. And I love the word stillness. I've gone to this more. I feel like it's more, to me, it's more inviting. I have battled for years with the meditation thing, because I had this connotation or this definition of what meditation was. And I think that was stopping me from just being quiet, right? So all stillness is when you first get up. I think it's powerful to do it throughout the day, but I like doing it in the morning. But before you pick up the phone or look at the emails or do scrolling or what some of your habits might be, get up, whatever you have to do. I like to have a glass of water. I go to a different area of my home, and I just sit in stillness. Sometimes I'll listen to some of the high frequency tones, the solfeggio tones. I have been listening to more of that, and it's really helping me, just pure like 528 hertz the other day, getting me into the space where my mind is quiet. And that's all we're talking about here. Before the day begins, just go there. And then how will help you with this is when you say, what am I grateful for right now? And something will pop into your head. What do you have to be grateful for today? Also, you could say, what do you want? What's your intention about gratitude for the rest of the day? All right. So that's morning stillness.
I just have to say that I used to have such a hard time just sitting and like without any sort of activity around me, but I have really learned to do that too, Jan. And it is so, it's just cleansing. You know what I mean? Talk about taking your blood pressure down. It's just amazing. What a great way to start the day, as opposed to being all hyped up, right?
Yeah. And honestly, it is not like, 10, 20 minutes. It could be 5 minutes of just finding the stillness. So just try that. Here's the second one, the mirror moment. This is powerful, man. Just look in the mirror, but really look in the mirror and look into your own eyes. Okay. And then same kind of thing. A lot of time, and this is what's so powerful about this. This is hard for a lot of people. I'm even seeing this, I'm even feeling it as I'm thinking about looking into a mirror. So many of us, probably all of us, the first thing that comes to mind is negative self-talk. Mm-hmm. You're this or you're that. So the idea here is to look in the mirror and say something that is powerful. What's a quality in you that you are grateful for, and say it out loud. You want to take the next couple ones, Matt?
Wait, let me just say about that whole thing. I've gotten to where I'm actually very good about saying something positive, but then I will work my way around like, well, but are you really?
Oh, see, that's self-sabotage, right?
I know. So it's so awesome when you are working through these things and you are intentionally saying certain things and trying to have a certain mindset, and you can actually right in front of your eyes see yourself sabotaging yourself. It's really interesting.
I'm going to do it first. I'm going to do it right now. Like I'm not looking at my eyes, but I'm looking into the camera. I'm looking into all of you, and I am grateful for my patience. I have been getting so much better at patience. So thank you for being more patient. Matt,
Yeah,
what do you got?
that's really good. Well, I'll tell you what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my ability to listen. That's what I'm grateful for.
Well, that's a given, my
And
friend.
I know we talk about that, but that's one of those things that I am very grateful for that. And I realize when I'm doing it, and I realize sometimes that it's a good thing for others and myself. So I am very grateful for that.
And I'm grateful that you are a great listener. Okay.
Here we go.
But
This is really what we're talking about today.
yeah,
We're talking about
see how we're like joking around because uncomfortable in a weird way, but that's why we're being real right now,
yeah.
folks. This is like not scripted, okay? This is just like literally do it.
Because the whole point of this podcast and the whole point when we talked about putting this together was let's put a spin on great gratitude that's different than what you normally hear. And usually it's always about outward gratitude. This is being grateful for things that you do yourself, and it's not selfish. And I think we touch on that a little bit later. But anyway,
but Matt, listen, before we talk, because I want you gratitude walk. I think is that you're so good at walking, and I know that you get into this space. But you just said something that's so powerful. It just came into my head. This whole idea of it's within and then without. So many of us go through the day that you're outside. We all think that if we have everything on the outside good, then we're good on the inside. And the power we're trying to say here is the gratitude flows naturally for you when you are grateful inside. That's your state of being. When your state of being is you love and accept yourself, you are grateful for who you are, those things ripple out. It's not like you have to work about sending a thank you note. In past years, we've always talked about go do these things to bring more gratitude into your life. And our focus has shifted to be more grateful about who you are, and the rest of it will take care of itself. Okay.
Everything else, love yourself before you love everybody else, right? It's that whole thing. The third thing that that's on our list is the gratitude walk, which yes, this is my jam, right? But when you step outside with no destination, and with each step you just think of one thing within you that deserves appreciation, you can give yourself a lot of gratitude during the walk with doing that during each step. So that is really, really great. And then you can end your day with an evening reflection, right? Ask yourself, what did I do today that honored who I am and who I am actually becoming? All of that it's self-talk. And I know that a lot of people just think that's a bunch of hooey, but it is so important. And even the people that think that's a bunch of hooey do it, whether they know they're doing it or not. So that is just a part of the way we are built, that your mind is always going and you're always doing a lot of that. And then when you realize that self-talk is happening, especially negative self-talk, is when you can jump in and start doing something about it.
Okay.
That's what I say about that. So all of those in my mind, Jenna Bryan, are fantastic. Well, those are beautiful exercises that you can do. For me, it's also about forgiveness gratitude, right? Thanking myself for learning from mistakes instead of beating myself up for them, which once again is something that we all do, and probably way more than we should do, right? It's grace for yourself in real time, because when you can be grateful for your own, humanness, you stop chasing perfection and you start living in the peace that you really deserve.
Wow, that is just really powerful. And that is the heart of what we're saying. Inward gratitude is really self-acceptance and self-love in disguise. And it's a state of being. And when you are living in that space, then you really are coming you're from acceptance and your compassion for yourself. Then it naturally flows out to everyone you meet. So you're not faking it. You really do have that. This is a big topic that we're talking about because it's just so I feel like most of us have more negative thoughts than we have positive thoughts. We're our own worst enemies. So let's work on that a little bit and become aware of it. But it's really all about just remember, be the person that you are.
Yeah.
Be that. And then everything else gets impacted by that. And here's the most compelling part of all this is when you practice this inward gratitude, you don't shrink from your light, you expand it even more. Like imagine just this like ball of energy that's inside of you. This is some things you can do when you're in the stillness or you're doing visualization or meditation. You can imagine this light and you can focus on it and you can have it just grow, and then people can pick up on the energy that you're around, right? So now when you move through the world, you can be more present, you can slow down, you're calmer, you're more open. People are going to feel this energy. And again, my favorite thing is ripple. I love this word ripple.
I know.
I have it all over the place. It's like I have this like remember, rise, and ripple, meaning like we wake up, we really work on ourselves, we raise up our vibration so that we can be this ripple that goes out and impacts those around us in a positive way.
Yeah, it's so true, because gratitude isn't really meant to be loud. It's meant to be lived. I love that because it's so true. When you're aligned on the inside, kindness and appreciation just spill out naturally without the performance, without the checklist. It becomes really pretty effortless.
And that's why we call it the quiet kind of gratitude, because it doesn't need applause. It just needs your awareness.
That's right. So we invite you to continue this journey, right? So we have created a download for you that's a 7-day, right, quiet reflections to reconnect with yourself, kind of a journal. So you can actually go and you can do some journaling each day. It gives you some prompts, easy download as they all are, totally free. You can find that over at wanderingbunnotlost.com. Just go to our downloads button up in the main menu. It'll take you over there and you can go ahead and download and get started on that. There's no particular start day. You just start it whenever you want to, but there are 7 days, there's 7 prompts in there that you can journal with. So once again, over at wanderingbunnotlost.com, go to our downloads button in the main menu and you can find that download. So as you move through this week, take a few minutes for yourself. Please take a few minutes for yourself. Do a little bit of inward thinking. Thank the version of you that keeps showing up even when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
That quiet voice inside, it's not asking for more. It's reminding you that you're already enough.
Gratitude begins and it really stays within. Honor it, nurture it, let it guide you toward peace, because when you fill your own cup up with appreciation, the overflow is what blesses the rest of the world and those that come into contact with you. And that's what it's all about. Be the ripple.
Be the ripple, like that. See you next week.
Where are you?
After the word effortless.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't know else how to explain
I swear I didn't hear you read that. I mean, or say that. I was like, what? Okay, never mind. All right. Sorry. Hold on.
Oh, boy.
Be the ripple. Don't drink the ripple. Was there something called Ripple or something like that in the old days?